All right, Bulls fans, we last left off talking about this guy by the name of, Javonte Green, and why he actually might be a pretty good fit for the Chicago Bulls, and how he actually is like another Alex Caruso out there. Well, you saw that in tonight's basketball game against the New York Knicks. This guy made history today in the sense that Javonte Green is the first player since Bobby Portis to come off the bench and get a double-double, right? That is pretty big shoes to fill, considering that Bobby Portis is an actual NBA champion and he was in the running for Sixth Man of the Year, might have won it, but Javonte Green was absolutely fabulous tonight, and he shows furthermore why he belongs and he needs to be a Chicago Bull long term, regardless of what we do in the offseason. So in today's vid, we're going to be breaking down what happened with the Chicago Bulls in their latest win against the New York Knicks. And we're also going to be talking a little injury update, as unfortunately we lost Alex Caruso and CobyWhite to injury today. And so before we jump into it, guys, I want to let you know that 74% of you guys that watch the video are not subscribers. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with your latest news and happenings with your Chicago Bulls, guys. And so let's jump into it, man. And the first part is got to be the Javonte Green impact. This guy was absolutely huge today, guys. And let's jump right into the box score for this guy. I mean, look at what he was able to do. You're seeing it right now. Played a big 33 minutes, 10 of 14 from the field. I was talking about his three-pointers and how he's gotten better since he's had his stint in the G League. Look, he was 1 of 2 tonight, so he shot 50%. 4-4 from the free throw stripe as well. Talked about how he had struggled a little bit with the knee injury and how that had actually taken a dip. And I thought that this was actually going to improve as well. He was 4-4 tonight. But look at what he was able to do, guys, in the stat sheet. Okay, I talked about how he had the double-double with the 25 points and the big 13 rebounds. But look at what he did as far as the steals. He also got a block in there as well. Had an assist, and I talked about his assist numbers not being the highest because he doesn't necessarily handle the ball, guys. But for the most part, I mean, you're looking at a guy that essentially is what I was talking about earlier. Here's a guy that does not need to have the basketball in his hands to be effective at the start of the play. You know, he's more of one of those guys that actually finishes the break, and you got a chance to see that in full display tonight. I mean, his athleticism was on full display tonight. And can I just say this as well? Just as a basketball fan, can we get this guy in the dunk contest? One of his dunks was quite impressive. On the break, splitting 2 defenders, he goes reverse and dunks it. It was amazing, guys. And so you got a chance to see this guy be a big finisher. You got a chance to see this guy knock down timely shots. And actually, one of his shots from downtown didn't count towards the end of the half, if I'm not mistaken. It actually was still in his hand, but it still went down, though. He was all over the place. The energy was different as well. And one of the things that you'll notice too about this performance is that one of the things that was said in the telecast is that he actually missed Monday's game, guys. And so that just makes us just really think, like, if he were out there for Monday's game with that energy, perhaps we would have been able to possibly win that game against the Hawks, because we came out pretty flat. So again, man, I think that this was a terrific signing. I think this guy has definitely proven that he should be on the roster. And I talked about the fact that he could essentially play with just about anybody now, because before it was like, okay, could he only play with Lonzo Ball feeding him on the break? And he's answered that he does not need to have just he doesn't have to have a downhill point guard in order for him to be effective. Like, he found a way to be effective out there in several different ways, and whether it was slashing, getting to the free throw line, whatever it was. And defensively, like I said, this guy plays a lot bigger than what generally he's listed as. And so as we go back into the box score, guys, we definitely have to throw our shout out to DeMar DeRozan here. Plus 10 in the box score. This guy was electric, I think, down the stretch. And look at this, too. 20 and 10 for him. 20 points, the 10 assists. I know there's a lot of pushback in there as far as what DeRozan does. And this is what I'm talking about. Not only does DeRozan go out there and score, but he's a huge playmaker as well, guys. And this is why, if we're going to keep a piece, we're probably going to keep DeMar DeRozan over Lavine, even though it looks like, perhaps we could be headed to keeping Lavine. Who knows? But this is why we have to love DeMar DeRozan, man. He makes game-winning plays here. And let me add this, too, as well, as we're looking at the box score, guys. We had 4 players tonight, 4 players that got double-doubles. That has not happened since Jamal Crawford, Eddie Curry, Tyson Chandler, and Donyell Marshall. I believe that is the name of the player that actually played for us back in the day. That hasn't happened since they played, and that's back in, I want to say, 2003. So this was a huge night for the Chicago Bulls, and this is why we have to get excited, because if they play like this, quite frankly, they could hang with anybody or really beat anybody on any given night. And as we look here also on the other side of the box score, looking at the Knicks, obviously we could not stop Jalen Brunson for the most part. I mean, Brunson had the big 35 points tonight, but we made it tough for him. I mean, he was -2 in the box score. He did have 11 assists. He was 8 of 10 from the free throw line, 1 of 5 from downtown, which is a huge actual stat here, guys, because when you look down at the team stat, another fact for you guys, the Knicks were 10 of 29, all right? Anytime that the Chicago Bulls hold a team to under 11 three-pointers, they are 15 and 3 versus when they actually allow teams to get and hit 11 or more three-pointers. So again, man, defensively, we have the tools to be good. And I think that this was huge that we had Javonte Green out there today. And, for the people out there that push back in the comments, you're seeing why we are excited about Javonte Green. You're seeing, the way the ball was hopping and things like that. And just, man, you really get excited when you see this as Chicago Bulls fans, but then we just don't know why sometimes we get these inconsistencies. And last thing I want to look at too on the box score too, guys, is I want to give him his flowers as well, is I want to give DeSumo. I want to give him his flowers, man. I mean, he had the 24 points, deuce thrace, I think is what Stacey King calls this guy, because he was knocking down three-pointers. He was +3 tonight, 10 of 20 from the field, 3 of 7 from downtown, so he's knocking down some shots here from outside. Missed some layups that I wish he didn't, but hey, it's okay. I mean, the guy's out there trying to make plays, but love what he did in the box score. Look at this, 6 rebounds, had the 5 assists, the 2 steals. That's what you love about this guy. You paired that with Javonte Green. That kind of turned us in the second half when the Knicks were kind of making their run. And I also want to give Andre Drummond his flowers as well, man. I mean, 10 points. He also had 16 rebounds. And the one thing that you love about this with Drummond, only in 24 minutes, which is very, very huge, guys. So the fact that he's not getting a huge amount of minutes and he's still coming out there and getting a double-double is huge for us, guys. And, unfortunately, we got the win, but unfortunately, guys, we had some casualties here. As we had some injuries, as we had Alex Caruso and CobyWhite actually go down today. So that leads us into the next part of the video, guys, which is the update on White and Caruso's injuries. And so, look, this is tough, man, because when I looked at Caruso and I looked at his injury, it looked a lot worse than I would say CobyWhite's injury, man, because it occurred when Jalen Brunson's driving in on the basket, and the irony of it is it turned into an and one, but he stepped on his ankle, and you see his ankle like it turns, and anybody that's played basketball and you twist an ankle, first of all, that's terrible, but then the way he sprained his ankle, it looked real bad, man, because like the way he stepped on it, and then also too, it was like Caruso was trying to come forward to meet him, and try to get big on him and make it tough on him to score at the rim. like it's like, man, his ankle went the wrong way. You know what I mean? He was able to walk off and everything like that, but I think that his ankle injury was a lot worse than say CobyWhite, because CobyWhite, it looked like he was kind of jumping or flashing out on the screen. He comes up, he gets met by their big there, and he's essentially, what he does is he actually he 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 kind of like jumps up and kind of like tweaks his ankle, right? And CobyWhite was able to come back to start the half, like he was warming up or whatever the case may be, and then he ran back to the locker room. So, that was a situation where I think CobyWhite is probably going to be a little bit more on the questionable, probably a game time decision. But with Caruso, it didn't look good. I don't know if he's going to necessarily sit out some games, which would actually suck too for him, because he needs to actually play, I think, the last 7 games or the majority of the last 7 games to be eligible, I think, for the all defensive team. And by all stretch of imaginations, guys, this guy is for sure an all defensive team performer. Like, and it would really suck if he doesn't go out there and get it because he's not able to play the 65 games. But it looked kind of a little tough and gruesome. Like, I know Alex Caruso is tough, but I mean, I'm going to be shocked if he's able to come back and play this next game, because it just didn't look good. So, with that being said, guys, what do you guys think in the comments of the performance of Javonte Green? Is this a guy that we for sure need to keep on the roster next year, no matter what happens with our roster, what trades we may or may not make, what we do with Patrick Williams or not do with him? Is this a guy that you want to see in a Chicago Bulls uniform? And then what do you guys think of this recent injuries that have occurred too in tonight's game? Like, are you a little worried about CobyWhite? I know his rhythm had been off. Are you a little saddened now that Alex Caruso may not get onto the all-defensive team because he may not, be eligible due to the fact that he may not be able to play the rest of the game? So let me know in the comments. This is Rico Greenhowe, your host with Bulls Digest. I'll see you on another one. And as usual, guys, go Bulls. I'll see you guys. Peace.